Hi you guys, and welcome to my journaling video. I've always wanted to make a video about how I journal and how I bullet journal and stuff, but I've never really given myself the opportunity to do that. I've gone through multiple books before, but I just never really bothered to show how I do it until recently, so I've really wanted to make this video for a while. It also doesn't help that for my current journal, this one right here, I'm like 9 months behind on it. I'm like only in the middle of it, but I'm like 9 months behind on it, and I don't really want to play catch up, so I basically took the opportunity and said, well, this is like a good excuse to get another one to fuel my book buying addiction. I love going to Barnes and Nobles and just staring at their stationery. I've gone through multiple types of books before. I've gone through the current one that I have is a Dowlen. I've gone through the Muji books, things like that, and I just like trying new types of journal brands, so we'll see how this one works. But honestly, I'm really excited to show you guys just how I journal. I'm calling this a bullet journal, but I don't really know if that's the word for it because it's not strictly for bullet journaling. I like to just put pretty pictures in my pages and call it a day. But we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to show you guys and excited to kind of talk about the way that I journal. So let's get into the video. Hello, here are my ever so lovely hands placing this very nice journal amongst totally not purposefully placed photos and pieces of washi tape. I absolutely did not plan for this to look very Pinterest, not at all. But I'm just here kind of opening a couple of pages. I like to stretch out the journal a little bit before I start using it. I don't really go through the whole thing, but it's just something to keep it open. And I like to put my name and I like to put the date that I started, even if it's not the first week of the actual journal, just because it's a good way for me to keep track of when I'm actually starting these journals, since I do tend to jump ahead a bit, so that way I give myself enough time to get back into the routine. So this one is for February 11th. I think I really wanted to start off this journal kind of video by saying that I used to try to do bullet journals back in the past, and by past I mean 2 years ago. But I actually realized that that's not really for me the way that it's usually done. For example, right now I'm filling up the first couple of pages with my washi tapes because I like to be able to see how it's done and to be able to see the things that I have laid out. But usually what you end up seeing is people using these first couple of pages to, I guess, the way to say it is that they do actual important things. They write down the months of the year, they'll take the time to make space for video ideas, or they put down birthdays, or they, I guess, put down goals or ambitions or whatever that means, in their journal entries, the first couple of pages. This one comes with a couple of pages for general note-taking, or you want to make a table of contents, but I'm very obviously using this very valuable and precious space to just fill it with even more of my washi tapes. I literally have not even put all of them in yet. As I was making this video, because I was so stressed about it, I forgot to put in 10 other tapes that I have, which is why you can see that I started a bit later into the book, because I knew that even internally, I knew that I would have way too many washi tapes for just 2 to 3 pages for the journal, and that was actually a problem I had with my other one, was I ran out of space. But this is just the way that I like to do it because I think it's a little more satisfying, and I don't know, I just like the way it looks. But as you can tell, when it comes to me making my first journal entry for the week, which is this one right here, I'm just going in blind. I'm literally not planning anything except a color scheme ahead of time. All I did before I made this video was go into all of my pretty pictures, cut out anything that had a similar shade to the color blue, because that's what I decided this week to be, and I just went at it. I have no plans, my head is empty as I lay down these washi tapes, and I'm just going off vibes. But honestly, I feel like that's a little more liberating when it comes to making journals. And that's actually something that I kind of wanted to talk about in this video for a little bit, which was that I feel like when we make these bullet journals, I think that we are way too strict on ourselves. Like, this was actually a problem that I had when I tried to make bullet journals back in high school and even when I was in college. I struggled a lot with keeping myself on track with bullet journals because I felt like I had to be productive whenever I made one. And that was actually a really big issue that I had, which was that I would make my like daily or my weekly calendar in the journal. And, you know, like right now I'm writing the days of the week, but in my prior ones, like the ones I first made back in high school, I followed the guides that I would see on Pinterest because I thought that's the only way that you could make journal entries. Like, I thought that was the only way to properly do bullet journaling. And I would basically follow it to a T. And I actually never got anything done because of that. I got so worried, or like, I guess so kind of sucked into making it as organized as possible and feeling as productive as possible that I just never actually did anything. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people actually end up going through, because I know I'm like not the only one who does that, where they're way more obsessed with like putting their tasks into their like to-do list than they actually are like doing them. So like right now, like all I'm doing here is like putting in like a calendar, but that's just so I know like what week I'm working with. Other than that, I'm not paying any attention to that. Like my focus is strictly on like a very rough draft of like what my daily is going to look like for the week. And I only give myself 3 lines per day to actually fill anything out, because to me, that makes me way more productive than I would be spacing out every single hour of my day. Like here I'm putting in that I have to do something on the 11th and that I have to do something on the 19th. And it's completely vague. I'm not writing down anywhere like what that means, but like I internally know what that means. The 11th is the day that I'm filming this, and the 19th is the day that I want this to come out. If it comes out on the 19th, it comes out on the 19th, and it comes out, you know, a day after, that's not a problem. But I'm trying to keep track of it internally because I feel like if I were to write it down, I would feel so stressed about kind of seeing it there every time that I open the journal to write like something in the daily, that I would actually like, I feel like I would try to avoid it. Like I feel like I just wouldn't actually get anything done. And that just feels 1,000,000 times more counterproductive than it would me taking the time to just fill everything out. Like what I'm doing here is I'm just writing down like the things that I like to do weekly. So some of these are like watching a movie every day. Some of these are like drinking water every day, studying my Japanese every day. And that's literally it. Like I have no other goals in my mind except for these things. Like please note that I'm not even putting like video editing in this calendar. It's strictly things that I think are important to me and things that I think would benefit me. So doing my skincare, I think that's a benefit to myself. Watching a movie every day, that makes me happy. Like that's, I think, the most important part about these bullet journals is that they don't have to be like the most productive things in the world, if that makes sense. I don't know, like I think we just kind of put too much pressure on ourselves, like I said, to kind of make these look the way that they do on Pinterest. And I know that that's like super addictive. I know it's super fun to like look at ideas and inspiration and be like, oh my God, I'm gonna make it look exactly like this. But the literal stress that I felt when I would open up like one of these like grid journals and I would be like one box off, like one row off when I did like any box or any diagram, I literally wanted to die. I hated it. And like, again, that's why like this version of doing it, I feel is so much more liberating. I made a little box, a little space for me to have my journal entry of the week. And I'm just putting underneath it, you know, my movies that I want to watch for the week. And I could have put that anywhere. I had no rush, no reason to put it underneath my journal entry. I could have put it on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side. I could have put it like diagonal, like however I wanted, because I knew that I didn't need to worry about space because I have tape, I have stickers, I have photos that I can glue in. But these are my movies to watch for this week. I have Happy Together. Infinity Pool actually came out recently, so I've been wanting to see that. Swing Girls is something that I've been hearing really good things about, as well as Tokyo Fist. I've also really been wanting to watch Possession because I love giallo films, and I know that that's like giallo adjacent. I've also really wanted to watch The Machine Girl just because I hear it's so campy and like so good. And then also The Golden Glove because I like to pretend that I don't watch only schlock and that I actually do have like decent taste when it comes to watching like international films. But this general space that you can see here, it's a little bit different compared to my older journal like this because I'm actually this time not putting in the charts and the graphs that you guys saw. I'm trying to not use those, and you can see me struggling with space because I'm not used to having so much empty space in my journal. I'm not putting in these charts and graphs that I would use for the hours that I studied at school, or how many like glasses of water I've been drinking and things like that, or like how many hours I've been reading, because again, like I'm trying to make this, I guess, like more easygoing for myself, and I just like really wanted to show you guys that. Like I wanted to kind of show that there's not like a single right way to do journal entries or to do bullet journaling or to just make a journal in general. Like it took me a while to get to this point where I could figure out how exactly I wanted it to look. And I'm still not exactly happy with how it is, honestly, just because I feel like there's so much more that I could add that I just still don't really know what to do with. And obviously that's going to take more time and like more experience for me to figure out like how I want things to look and like how I want my aesthetic to be and what makes me visually happy to look at. But again, like I guess I just really want this to be like a visual example for you guys that there is no singular way. And if anything, I want to encourage you guys to kind of experiment and try out like different styles of journaling. If you feel that bullet journals are not speaking to you, then like do not do them. You are wasting your time. Have fun with making collages and like photo entries. I've seen people literally just like paste items of the day in their journals, and I think that looks so cool. I've seen people who like, if they eat food today, like if they had like a candy wrapper, they'll stick that into their journal alongside like receipts and like pieces of paper that they used. And that works for them. It's what makes them happy. And I think that's like the most important thing about all of this is that like your journal shouldn't just be for productivity. Like, please do not listen to that. You do not have to be productive 24/7. I do these silly little journals because they make me happy. And so here is my journal in all of her glory, finished, beautiful. At least I like to think so. And here I am 2 hours later because I forgot to film the ending portion of this. And so now I'm really tired because videoing everything makes it take like 3 times as long. But yeah, here is my finished journal, I guess from a distance. As the week passes, I'll, start filling it out. I'll fill out like the days. And then usually what I'll end up doing is that by the end of the week, I'll actually fill out this little section with like my thoughts and my feelings and my opinions, being very opinionated as I am. But I hope you guys like this video, and I really hope that this makes at least someone out there want to start journaling and want to start trying to figure out like the way that you like to journal. Because the reason I do it like this is because it took me a really long time, like I said, to figure out what I like to do and how I like to do it. And I just kind of hope that this video is kind of a way to remind you guys that just because it's kind of like the trending way that works for like other people, that doesn't mean that it has to be the one that works for you. But I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.